Well, Indiana 116 to 107. They come home. They take care of their home court with a big fourth quarter. Their defense was smothering tonight, and they wore down the Thunder. You could see the Thunder, hands on the knees, bent over at the waist a lot in the fourth quarter. And, you can talk about a lot of tremendous individual performances by the winning team here. But what TJ McConnell did off the bench was, to me, if I had to give an MVP of the game for the Pacers, that's who's getting the game ball if I'm coaching.
Timothy John McConnell II, Napes. Incredible stuff. And that's what they needed coming into this game. You're spot on. Siakam could not get space to create his own shot. Hallie couldn't do the same. TJ gets the floor spread out, gets the team running. And to your point about the Thunder being tired, that's because it turned into the Pacers style.
Their game plan on SGA was phenomenal. They didn't give him any daylight. They bumped him up and down the court, and he got worn down at the end of the game. And now you only have a day off before you play game 4. So it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the Thunder make. But Indiana's defensive game plan tonight was flawless.
Yeah, it was excellent. The doubles came timely, and I'm going to go out on a limb. Indiana got a bad whistle tonight, Grant. It was inconsistent for them from the start all the way to the fourth quarter, but they battled through it. So I'm going to give them extra credit there.
And here's the other deal. I thought because of the defense by Indiana wearing down Oklahoma City, I think you saw it at the foul line. It affected them at the line. They missed a lot of free throws in this game, and particularly in the fourth quarter.
Spot on. And they were turning the ball over a decent amount as well. And part of that was forced. I thought the Pacers found a way to pressure but still stay up tempo, which was huge. So I guess the question is it whoever's style wins out will likely win these games going forward?
Probably. The one thing that we have seen throughout the entire playoffs, regardless of whether you're talking about the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, one game has nothing to do with the next. There's no rhyme or reason. So, just because Indiana won tonight and played tremendous defense, you could see the Thunder come out and score 140 in the next game because we've seen it throughout these playoffs. So, it's crazy. That's why coaching is so important in these playoffs and why I give Rick Carlisle, a big check mark here with Daigneault. How could you not? The man's experience is incredible, and their coaching staff as a whole, they've devised a tremendous game plan for this game 3.
Yeah, he's not afraid to change his rotations, which he did a little bit tonight on the fly. He put TJ in for the last 2 minutes of the second half, and I think that's what you need. And you need a team, Grant, that's receptive to that, that's not going to put their heads down and pout when their minutes change in a game on this level.
No question about that. So 116 to 107. The final. And all right, so here's one adjustment that I think you're going to see Oklahoma City make for game 4. SGA played 42 minutes tonight. There's no way he can play 42 minutes, in my opinion, on Friday night with the caliber of defense and the game plan of Indiana. So the bench of Oklahoma City, I'll just tell you this right now, the bench for Indiana dominated this basketball game tonight. The bench of Oklahoma City is going to be the biggest key of this game 4, and they are not going to be able to play SGA 42 minutes and win the game.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to win many games when your bench gives up negative 30 in bench scoring, 49 to 18. I think the Pacers kind of forced the Thunder's hand in a sense because the minutes SGA was off the floor, the Pacers were thriving. I think another adjustment you're going to see from the Pacers, Grant, is they're going to keep trying to go a little bit smaller. I think the minutes for Turner are going to be reduced a little bit as long as Tyrese Halliburton can continue getting that space, which starts with TJ.
Well, it's now 2-1 Indiana and a critical game coming up for the Thunder on a Friday night. I'm call it right now. I expect them to win that game. They've shown all year that they bounce back after losses. They won 68 games. They've proven they can win on the road. I expect them to win game 4.
I think the Pacers are going to treat tomorrow night or 2 nights from now as game 7. This is their game 7, their chance to have a championship because it guarantees you a game 6 at home. I think if you get to a spot where you're trying to get back to Oklahoma City for a game 7, it's not going to go well for the Pacers. So I expect their best shot again.
Going to be a heck of a fun game on Friday. There's no question about that. So 116 to 107. I mean, there's going to be a game 6 back in Indiana, regardless.
Yes.
But here's the key, Ryno, is we have not seen with the Pacers throughout these playoffs. Since we talk about Cleveland and then Milwaukee, right? And then what they did to the Knicks. They're playing with the lead in terms of games in the series, right? And once again, now they have the lead in the series. They have not really had to play when they're trailing in the series, and that is a great position to be in these playoffs. I'm not saying it takes the pressure off, but they're playing with house money right now going into game 4. I said this before the series began, and I'm still going to stick to this. I think in order for them to win this series, they have to win 2 games at Oklahoma City. They've already won. I think they're going to have to win another.
We'll see. I just think knowing that if you can come back and get one more, you get that game 4, you have a chance to win a championship on your home floor.
No question. How big would that be? Oh,
you put your destiny in your hands. The question becomes, can you beat the Thunder this many times in a short amount of games?
Yeah, it would be similar to what we saw with the game 6 in the last series after the Knicks were able to win at MSG to force a game 6. Right. And you saw Indiana come out with an A game. I mean, they just controlled the game against the Knicks in that game 6. So I'm with you. That would be I don't care how many games you win during the regular season, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this Oklahoma City team is experienced enough to withstand what that would be like in a must-win on the road in a game 6.
Do you feel like Oklahoma City can play both styles? I know they lost tonight in a more of a track meet. Do you think they can get used to that, or do you think the Pacers are the team that's better at playing both styles because they got one in Oklahoma City?
The Pacers have shown me throughout the playoffs they can play any style that you want to play. You want to run the ball up and down the court? Let's go. You want to have a slugfest and go half court? Let's go. Yep. They've shown me that they can win at any style. They can win a low-scoring game, and they can win a high-scoring game. They've shown that throughout the playoffs. And again, I put a lot of that on the shoulders of Rick Carlisle.
Incredible job coaching. Grant, it feels like there's something special going on with that team in Indy. It just really does.
No question. Pooh is at Bennett's having a cocktail. We wish we were with you, Pooh. Good job, buddy. Pooh. Good job.
That cocktail better be followed up by some mushroom soup and a New York Prime, my man. Medium rare.
Well, right now, the New York right now. You're exactly right. That's good stuff. So, again, a quick turnaround. That's what I like now. You know, you had the extra day off after being in Oklahoma City, and now the games come at you quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think the players prefer it at this point to keep it rolling, or do you think they like the rest extended as the series begins?
Let me just, before I answer that, Pooh says, Grant, you look different. How many cocktails have you had, Pooh? So do I think the players like this? I think if you're the team that won tonight, you like it. Yeah. I think if you're Oklahoma City right now, you would love to have an extra day off.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess the thing for me that sticks out for both of these teams, Grant, is just the amount of strength they have coming off the bench. You had Aaron Wiggins last game that drops 18, I believe, off the top of my head. And then tonight, Benedict Mathurin, 27 in 22 minutes.
Yeah. How about that? He was tremendous. 116 and 107. A reminder, tomorrow, 5 o'clock. All right. The E60 Heart of Pearl. Dan Lindbergh is their director. This is a phenomenal E60. I watched it 2 days ago. They sent me a private copy to watch, and it is spectacular. So that's tomorrow at 5 o'clock right here, if you don't like that. And Scott, yes, he's one of my best friends, but this is not just about my relationship with Scott. This is about the message to become an organ donor and help out those that are in a very, very difficult situation, life-threatening situation, the way Scott was. And now he has a new lease on life, thanks to Casey Angel and a donor and his heart. So that's the message. And this is going to be tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
That's not a gimmick. The last name was Casey Angel.
That's correct. That is the real name, Casey Angel. And as you'll learn in the documentary, Scott reached out to them, which you're allowed to do, but there's no guarantee that the family of the donor is going to get back to you. A lot of times they just want to remain anonymous. It's too difficult. But the scene at the end of this E60 will bring tears to your eyes. Just not going to give it away. It is unbelievable.
Pretty cool. Can't wait for that conversation. So you talked about the ratings not being good for the finals. Adam Silver was on earlier tonight for the pregame. And here was his quote, Napes. People compare us to 20 years ago. Games 1 and 2 so far are the highest rated programs in May and June so far on television. And if something beats us, it will be another sports program. Back 20 years ago, we often didn't win the night when the finals were on.
I don't know how you completely digest numbers, because 20 years ago, we didn't have the impact of social media and the availability of watching your game on the phone like you do now. Okay. So I don't really know how the algorithms and everything work. What I do know is everyone forecasted. When I mean everyone, I'm talking about the media critics and those that cover these type of topics, that this would be a low-rated finals. And so far through 2 games, and I don't have the numbers from tonight yet, it has been. So, I mean, you can't just ignore that, can you?
No, you cannot, but I think it is a good question about how they measure them going forward, because the plans going forward the NBA has to distribute games and how the younger audience digests it. Pooh, strike 2, but we're gonna give you a clean count. Scott with 1 T.
That's right. Well, he said he's going to have 6 cocktails tonight. I hope you are not driving, first of all, and enjoy poo. You know, the other aspect of these TV ratings is, what are we talking about? Okay, what are we really talking about? The impact of high ratings or low ratings is what? Because the NBA's got a signed, sealed, and delivered billion-dollar TV deal, right? That's going to start next year. So I don't think Adam Silver is in his office in Manhattan sweating too much if the numbers are down.
No, it's the advertisers probably pushing back on the network. Hey, you know, maybe it should be a little cheaper next year, but that could affect pricing next year. I guess the interesting thing to me is this is more of the style of basketball that you're seeing between these two teams, Napes, that people wanted to see. Why they turned the TV off because of the 3-point shooting, but now it's down low and makes it a little bit interesting.
Here's something else I want to point out, and I don't know if you agree. I am shocked at this level, NBA Finals, how many bad possessions there are in a game where players still are not aware of momentum, clock, score. I see it all too frequently, even tonight. Just too many possessions. And again, in these close games, you can't have 1 or 2 bad possessions. We saw that change this game around tonight. It really did. And it's puzzling to me. It really is. It's just puzzling to me.
I think if we're talking about 2 veteran teams that have been there before, I'd hop on board with you. But these are the 2 highest IQ teams in the league, hands down. I think it's a product of being in the moment. I think as you go throughout the series, you'll see some of those possessions not be as bad. But I agree. I just, they're young for the most part. Hallie, first finals. SGA, first finals.
Yep. And I have a feeling that when you look at Oklahoma City and their bag of money and assets is bigger than anyone else's bag in the NBA, and they have arguably the greatest general manager that we've seen in a long time, they could be a dynasty here, even if they don't win this finals.
Yeah.
Which I think will actually fuel them to even be better next year. They could be a real dynasty here. They really could.
So as you watch them, what do you feel is missing? And take that with a grain of salt. They're about as complete as you could be, but what do you think they could use?
Honestly, experience.
Yeah.
You got to remember, 2 years ago, they weren't in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think Caruso has done his part to bring that grit. And on some nights, your role players are going to play better usually at home, which you saw again for the Pacers tonight.
Yeah.
Other games for the Thunder, I think they need that bona fide score that no matter the situation, what
Yeah.
you're going to get from them off of the bench.
And I think the other aspect is Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
He's still nowhere near his prime. And I think you saw it in the second half tonight. And I'm trying to envision him staying healthy and where he's going to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years, 5 years. I think it's going to be scary. So that's another aspect of this team. I mean, when you look at a Pascal Siakam compared to Chet Holmgren, if I'm going to analyze both of these careers 15 years from now when they're over, you're probably going to say Holmgren was a better player and had a better career. But right now, you can really see the difference.
It was, and he should, from where he was drafted, from his size. Yes. I like you said, for me, freaky. He jumped off of his opposite foot from almost the free throw line in the NBA Finals and almost finished the play. So I think it's going to be the development and what you do with him and who you play him with. I think that's most important.
Hey, if you want to give us a call, we would love to have you. You can talk about this game 3 in which the Pacers win it 116-107. We're very happy to have you here, and we'll be on after game 4 as well. Looking forward to that. And also want to tell you about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They are available 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. You got the information on your screen, or you can go to newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you.
Is it too early to make this ruling? I think Chet's slightly overrated during
it's stupid. He's definitely not overrated. He's in his what is he in his 3rd year?
And he missed his first year because of injury. Think about the broken hip that he missed this year.
Right. I mean, he's still a puppy.
And maybe that's the worry. Can he work himself through some of these injuries? Because he does have a very different body style. If you had to put him in a category, he's kind of in that unicorn category names.
And I think Dirk actually, when he uses the word slightly, now that I analyze this, he might be slightly overrated right now. But I think Dirk, and your question is an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I think most people feel that his ceiling, he's right now on the 7th floor and he's a 10-story building. Okay. Like he's only going to get better and better and better. And his body is going to get better. And Dirk, maybe today, right now, maybe slightly overrated because of his accolades in college and the fanfare coming into the league and all of that. But I think when you look at him, like I don't see anything on him that I think's overrated. Like I think he's the real freaking deal. I really do.
If he's able to stay healthy, he is one of just a few players that might be able to deal with Wembanyama as that Spurs team develops.
Well, think about that rivalry that's right now hasn't really started yet.
Right.
Okay. For all intents and purposes, that could be the number 1 rivalry in the NBA for the next decade. If they remain healthy.
And book it. You're looking to get Harper's son as the 2nd pick, who many are saying is a can't miss from terms of an all-star perspective. You pair him with Castle, and then you talk about Durant. I mean, Jerry and I talked about this on Tuesday. How do you think Durant would fit in with that Spurs team in Wemby?
Well, I don't think Durant can help anybody when he's not on the floor. And I think that we're seeing him break down too much over the last 2 years. But I think when he's on the floor, I think he could help out that team significantly, because the one thing that Durant has always shown throughout his career, when you pair him with very good players, he's great, right? Whether it's the Olympics, whether it was the Warriors, even before he left Oklahoma City. How would you defend that team?
A lot of size, interior, a lot of physical play, try to get them into foul trouble. If he ended up on the Spurs, quite frankly, I would change the colors to red, white, and blue if I was San Antonio. You do that.
All right,
he's gonna be
stupid
fine.
question. Could you imagine Durant being the 6th man on that team, instead of starting him?
No. I can't. I cannot.
So if he were healthy, I mean, he still has shown that when he's healthy, he's still very good, right?
Yeah, just the matchup perspective. You've got
Yeah.
two guys that are 7 foot plus on the perimeter. Can be, well, I guess Wemby's still working on that interior driving game, but the way that you would have to play them just completely changes your game plan. It's nuts.
Unbelievable. All right. Again, we're glad to have you with us. We're talking about the game that went to Indiana. They had a big fourth quarter, boy. They had a big fourth quarter, 116 to 107. Somebody said I would want Chet on my team. There's not a team in the NBA that would not want Chet Holmgren.
Yep. What the heck's going on with Lou Dort? He comes into the finals shooting like 30% from three. He's shooting right now 55, 60%.
I know.
Beyond the arc. Just a defensive stopper. Hits a shot when you need him.
Yep. That's what he's doing. Absolutely. And so what's the biggest issue you think's facing Oklahoma City going into game 4?
It's being able to enforce your will. It's being able to not turn the ball over if you get into an up-tempo pace. And more importantly, the one thing they've done all playoffs and really all season is made teams pay for their turnovers. They have not made the Pacers pay through 3 games for their turnovers.
Very true. Very true. You know, we had a game at the half that was right there for the taking. Third quarter, I mean, Oklahoma City had a nice run at the end of the third. And the fourth quarter for Indiana, again, I keep on using the term attrition. They wore them down. And I don't think that Daigneault can play SGA 42 minutes on Friday night. I just don't, especially after what happened tonight. You got one day off. You've got a lot of basketball under your belt here in June. I think you can't, you know, I'm thinking really 36, 37 minutes, 35 minutes. I don't think you can play him 42 minutes.
Yeah, and, you know, Pascal Siakam went right at SGA tonight. He picked up an early foul. Siakam had a very good first quarter. So I think you throw that into the mix too. And if you're Indiana, hopefully get him off the floor, make him play less minutes if possible. But going back to the turnovers, tonight, Oklahoma City had 21 points that they conceded on their 19 turnovers. Indiana, 14 points on their 14 turnovers. Usually those stats are switched.
They normally are switched. That's exactly right. Here's an interesting number. When you look at Indiana, and we talk about their bench, right? Other than Halliburton's 36, there weren't a lot of minutes played for the starters. Siakam, 32. All right. Nesmith, 22. Turner, 30. Nembhard, 33. Right? I mean, so they should be able to bounce back just fine on Friday. No, I mean, when I mean bounce back, I mean from a physical perspective.
Coach Carlisle was getting a little bit of it after game 1. You got to play your starters longer. And he is actually stuck to that. I think that what that comes down to, Grant, is your role guys, your guys coming off the bench that play maybe 7 to 10 minutes. They have to stay out of foul trouble. Some of those guys like Shepherd and others have gotten into foul trouble. Was it Nesmith fouled out tonight? So that's what will force their hand to have to play more minutes with the starters.
All right, let's get to some phone calls right here on If You Don't Like That. We say hello to Dirk. Hello, Dirk.
Hey, guys. Man, Pacers is keeping up that magic.
Yeah.
So I love that this the narrative about OKC being inevitable this season, not saying from you guys, but just in general, where it's just they just act as if the Pacers had no chance, talking about the Pacers getting swept in 4 or maybe 5 games if they're lucky. But people discounted the inexperience of the OKC Thunder. I mean, it's amazing they had a 68-win team, but you can just see, like, especially late in games, I think throughout these playoffs, you see some moments where outside of SGA, there's just a lot of inexperience. You can see it tonight. I think, like I said, emphasis on slightly overrated with Chet Holmgren, but you can see some of that inexperience late where he's going at Miles Turner and he doesn't have anything in his bag, and Miles is just denying him at the rim every single time. Maybe one of those times it was Obi Toppin. And so there's definitely some growth that needs to occur. I just couple that unicorn style body with that super slender frame, the injury history. he doesn't look any bigger than when he walked in the league. I don't know. I'm curious if we actually see a prominent career out of that guy, or if we see injuries derail him in some way again. What are your thoughts?
It's one thing you can't do is forecast injuries. I mean, you can look at someone's frame and you can think, well, gee, they're more susceptible, but again, that's very difficult to do, right? I mean, if I look at Victor Wembanyama and I just watch him run up and down and I look at everything else, I mean, I say to myself, how's that guy going to stay healthy? I'm just looking at the way he plays. But again, I'm just guessing, right? I'm not talking about what happened this year. It had nothing to do with his body. It was, a blood clot's not
scary.
Yeah, it's completely different. But I'm just talking about in terms of his limbs, his ligaments, I'm not a doctor, right, Dirk, Ryan? But I'm just thinking to myself, how's that guy going to stay healthy?
Dirk, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said bag. I don't think he has much of a bag. Much of his offense comes off of a swing. It comes in a fast break. I think he's got to kind of individually start to create and find what his niche is offensively.
I was just speculating in the moment of what would be a move that OKC might try to pull off. Let's say they don't get the title. They've got so many assets and so much ability, capability to reconstruct this team any way they might want to. I don't think they'll give up on Holmgren, but
no,
unless they had a perfect piece that would fill in what he does, which is probably a little bit of rim protection, that versatile 3-point shot. I don't know if there's another guy that exists that they could just maybe a more experienced version of him. Or
they're not trading Holmgren, and the reality is that whatever move they make will be the right move because Sam Presti has proven that he doesn't make bad moves, really. And that's the other aspect of Oklahoma City is not only do they have a lot to work with, they have a general manager that is, as good as there is in the league at doing these things.
6th pick in the draft this year, and Nikola Topic, lottery pick point guard last year that sat out.
And I mean, Ryan, we talked in the offseason or last year a lot about Aaron Wiggins. Like, that would be a guy I want to go out and get. He's on a super massive discount, extended contract. It's some ridiculously low value. It's crazy how these guys, because I just see a lot of talent in him. If he actually got minutes, you could see some. Maybe
here's the deal. Players want to win a championship. They want to win a ring. And even though it's Oklahoma City, which is, not the hot spot in the country, they'll go just like players came to Sacramento. When the Kings were good in the early 2000s, players were telling their agents, get me to Sacramento. Think about that. Same thing will happen in Oklahoma City.
Well, great. I'll say Aaron Wiggins might be one of the. It'd be like Keon Ellis. Does Keon Ellis want a ring right now? He probably wants to get his first big contract. I would think that would be a big priority. So he's set for life, and then he'll pursue that. Aaron Wiggins still hasn't had a big contract. He was
very true.
So it's just kind of this unique thing. Again, fascinating that team is so well constructed that can go down that way. But I'm going Pacers in 7.
Okay,
that's my.
Anyway,
thanks for the call.
Thanks.
Thank you. I don't think the Pacers will, as good as they are and as well coached as they are, I don't see them winning a game 7 in Oklahoma City. I just don't.
I think it has to be Pacers in 6.
I agree with you. Yep, I agree.
What's up, Amar? Thanks for being here. What's up, little guy? I love when his son calls in, by the way. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's go back to the phones. Kazi, thanks for taking the call.
Hey, Ryan. What is the youngest age you remember watching NBA basketball?
Oh man, probably 7 or 8.
Okay, that's about the same for me. So, is it just me or is it maybe you as well? But it seems like ever since 2019, the NBA, as far as the playoffs specifically, have just not felt the same. Or is that just because when you get in your early mid-20s, you have a lot more going on in your life and you're just kind of more distracted by, that aspect?
I think it's that. It's the second for me. How about you, Nate?
Because I'm just saying, these playoffs, and especially these finals, are just so boring. It's just not the same.
I think I actually have enjoyed this style of basketball. I've enjoyed it a lot more than in years past. I hate just a 3-point shooting contest. I'm not a fan of that. I think it's kind of refreshing to see the physicality that we've seen in a different style of play and more inside baskets and things of that nature. I still don't like fast breaks being kicked out into the corner for threes. 2 points to me can be very valuable in these games. And I think both teams have shown through the playoffs that they give up 2 points way too often to try to go for 3. And that's when I look at momentum, score, clock. Sometimes you just got to take the sure thing.
Yeah, there's only 22 threes shot by Oklahoma City and 27 from Indiana tonight. So not a ton.
Wait, hold on. Because Grant, Ryan, I thought you guys said that this has been a boring final series.
No,
I thought games 1 and 2 were very boring. I thought game 3 tonight. I'm talking about the playoffs in their totality. I think the playoffs have been very compelling this year. In terms of, I thought the Indiana-New York series was very compelling. I thought it was, a lot of fun to watch. I thought the Denver-Oklahoma City series was an excellent series, very compelling, back and forth. Each team winning on the road, went to game 7. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not just referring to the 3 games that were played here. I do believe that game 1 and 2 were snooze fest, but I thought tonight's game was extremely entertaining. I thought it was fun to watch, and there wasn't a time during the game tonight where I'm like, God, I can't wait for this game to be over. I'm not enjoying it.
I'll concede game 2 is boring, but I thought 1 and 3 have been really good.
I thought the first 40 plus minutes of game 1 was terrible.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I also think that Richard Jefferson and Doris Burke contribute to this as well.
Richard's so bad.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Kazi.
Appreciate it. I mean, it just doesn't seem like the NBA Finals that I'm watching, listening to this announced team, with the exception of Mike Breen. Well, we hope that Pooh's enjoying himself at Bennett's. Which one are you at, Pooh? You're in Sacramento, you're in Roseville, or first of all, I got to learn how to talk. Or I'm sounding like after your 6 cocktails. Or are you at Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland? Prime seafood and steak, and as Pooh would endorse, cocktails are very good too at Bennett's, and I'm very happy that Pooh has let everyone know that he is doing Uber on the way home, so I'm very happy to hear that. Prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. Go to bennettsrestaurants.com. That's bennettsrestaurants.com. Awesome. Father's Day, Bennett's. Make a reservation. You'll love it. It's awesome.
That's going to be the NBA's challenge, because I think as we see the finals evolve, unless we see some of these same teams like the Thunder, you're going to see more role players step into their light rather than seeing stars walking into game 1, Grant.
Interesting. Could very well be. Yes, I think you are going to see that.
Teams are going to be forced to develop players with the CBA. It's only so much you can do.
That's a great point.
Let's go back to the phones. KJ, you made it.
Hey, how you guys doing? Grant, Ryno.
Hey, KJ.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys. I'm happy. Finally, an NBA Finals game under 53 shot combined. It was watchable. I'm with you, Grant. Game 1 and 2, just unbearable. Like, okay, I tune in for the final minutes of game 1, but that's it. And then I got my son here, Kyrie. And the real question is, how do I walk my son off the ledge and keep him a Kings fan?
Wow.
Ooh, that's a Napes. I'm kicking it to you, buddy.
How old's your son?
He's 8.
All right. So, I make it the analogy of the lifelong Cubs fans, many of whom lived a full life and never saw their team win a World Series. But those that stuck with them and got lucky that they lived long enough finally saw the Cubs win a World Series. So, if your son is that young and Vivek somehow would get the hell out of the picture and sell the team, maybe in his lifetime, he'll have a chance to see the Kings have a parade in downtown Sacramento as champions.
Yeah, our fingers are crossed, but hopefully for this finals, they keep it up. I love the defense that they were playing tonight on Shade, the doubles, little old school basketball. We finally had a foul that they didn't call as a flagrant foul. It was just a good playoff foul.
Spot on.
We appreciate you taking the time to call, and we're happy that your son is such a good NBA fan. And look at all, you got your hands full. You got your hands full.
I'm juggling. Father's Day weekend. I appreciate your guys' time. You guys, happy Father's Day, Grant.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, sir. You take care.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank
That's
you.
great, man. That's great.
That's what being a father is all about.
Exactly.
Right there.
Absolutely.
Like watching the game with your son, playing with
great.
the dog, calling your show.
Great.
Come on. Nothing better. Good job, KJ. Good job, Kyrie. Michael
there.
Guerrero.
How are you doing, guys?
Hey there.
I think this is a great step for Indiana. They took care of game 3. I think Oklahoma will be in trouble if they do not win game 4. Do you guys agree with it?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Right? I do see I'm not going to be shocked if Indiana does win game 4. There is something that I like about Indiana. Now, I mean, Oklahoma could still win game 4, but we'll have to see how this play out. Game 4 is very critical.
I think it's a must-win game for Oklahoma City. Indiana's playing too well right now, barring injury, to lose 3 games in a row.
Yeah. And speaking of which, though, we did have an unfortunate incident of Demarcus Cousins, though, suspended for the rest of the year. I mean, this would be a good idea for a rant with Grant.
I've already done my rants on him. I've done a rant the last 2 days.
You did?
Yep. So all you got to do is listen to Grant's rant on. You can go to my website, grantnapier.com, or if you don't like that.com, I did a rant on it yesterday, and I talked about it on my shows here the last 2 days. So I've already covered that.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's unfortunate. The fans were just, I don't know what's going on.
No, what's unfortunate is that he instigated the whole thing, and yet he's gonna try to blame it on everyone else. Good job by the league to suspend him for the rest of the year. Now, do I think it's great that the fans did what they did? No, I don't. Do I condone that? No, I do not. But Cousins was the instigator, as he has always been throughout his entire career.
Okay.
Well, did you watch the video?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm just wondering who started it at first.
Well, if you watch the video, you know who started it. I mean, right. So it's just the way his whole career has gone.
Thank you for letting me know that. No
I had to know
that. Yeah. And what do you guys think about the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's performance in the finals? I mean, it's his first time in experience in the finals.
Well, I thought the game plan tonight was great on him, and I thought they wore him down. But I thought, in game 2, he was tremendous. I thought in game 1, he was very good. He missed a shot that he would like to have back, but I have no problem with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I still think he's the best overall player on the floor.
Yeah, I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Pacers. That guy rarely turns the ball over. He turned it over 6 times today.
Yeah. Yep. You got to give credit to Rick Carlisle. He's done a hell of a job.
Indeed.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call, buddy. You have a good night. I mean, SGA he's unbelievable. I mean, he's really, really good. And I think defensively, he's really good. I saw a couple times, he got caught on a switch and he's guarding Siakam and playing him like, I'm just so impressed with how he plays both ends of the floor.
It's a great point. He might be one of the better two-way guys in this league. Wait till he develops that step up or step back 3-point shot consistently. That's a big problem.
Yeah, at 6'6", I don't think you're going to be able to guard him. Hey, Calusa is where Sunrise Landing is, and if you go to CalusaSunrise.com, you can get all the information if you're thinking of relocating a Blazona development project. No Mellorews, no homeowners, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. That's where you find Sunrise Landing, good access with the major roads. Go to CalusaSunrise.com and get all the information you need on Sunrise Landing. Programming reminder, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Heart of Pearl is debuting on Father's Day, East 60. It is a tremendous documentary on Scott Pollard and his journey to get a heart, and just phenomenal. That is coming up for you tomorrow at 5 o'clock with Dan Lindbergh, who's the director of this East 60 documentary. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Thank you for the nice things in the chat, MC. We appreciate it. I want to ask you this. I'm going to follow up on Michael's question. How many times did you see DeMarcus during games do a similar gesture to a fan, do a similar thing that was not caught on camera?
More than I have fingers and toes.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number, but throughout his career, many, 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 many times.
Yeah.
Many times. More often on the road than at home, but sometimes at home too. I've had season ticket holders who are in Kings Row 1, 2, 3, stopped me. Some I know, some I don't know, and told me that they could not believe what they had witnessed from him on the floor, even towards them as Kings fans. So a lot.
Bad thing, man. It's a bad thing, Napes. You'd think it would stop after you lose how many millions?
He's a bully. He's a bully. He's always been a bully. Yeah. I thought that Zach Randolph said it best in a game that was in New Orleans when Cousins was playing for the Pelicans and Zach was on the Kings, and DeMarcus was trying to act like a tough guy when he's a big fake tough guy. And Zach said, and it was on our audio, it came through on the microphone, where I'm from, bullies get bullied. That was one of the greatest lines I had heard.
I like that. That's like better than snitches get stitches.
I'll tell you what else is better than that is Baki all the way in Serbia. Baki, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how are you guys?
Baki, big day coming up on Wednesday next week.
You mean about?
Come on, Baki. Come on. The 18th.
Oh, yeah. That kind of crap always happens once of a year to everybody.
Well, we hope it happens once a year. Because if it doesn't happen once a year, then we're not doing very well.
And you made a single layer cake. Does that mean he's getting a double layer cake this year?
Hey, last time we got a cake from Theodora, I think, for Nate. So this time we're gonna make some kind of double.
Ryno, your birthday's in June too, yes?
Yeah, 3 days later, 21st.
Yeah. So we're all Gemini here.
All Geminis around
Geminis.
Basketball. Yeah, crazy.
So think about that. 18, 21. Remember that. 18 for me and Baki and 21 for Ryno.
Look at that.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to celebrate.
We should.
So tell you something about the game, which is very interesting to me. Game 1 and Game 3. In Game 1, OKC had a lead, and after they should finish that game with a win. But what happened? They look somehow fatigued, and you said that, Napes, tonight they fight for the breaths, and I don't see that in Indiana. So I think if we can judge after those 3 games, that maybe players from Indiana are better prepared for this final, physically.
Well, they're able to use the bench more. Their bench is playing so well
and
bench
is killing them. Bench is killing them. So OKC will have a lot of video to watch for the Game 4. And one more thing is very, very strange. And did you notice that Halliburton pays more attracted to the players from the opposite team than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Because Halliburton, when he was penetrating inside, he's average 2.5 guys always following him. So what Carlisle did great things, and his team is if they continue to move the ball like this and find the solutions to you see all the guys finding their rhythm tonight, and you got nobody stopping Obi Toppin. So
Obi who?
Toppin.
I thought you said Obi Poppin.
That's what I thought he said too.
No,
it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning and it's overseas. So some kind of wave, maybe. I don't know. So Toppin was great. So what I wanted to say is I saw it multiple times. 2 or 3 guys are following Halliburton to the way to the rim. So this is too much for OKC.
Yeah.
This is too much for the finals. If you give them that much advantage for the, I'm rooting for Indiana anyway, so I don't care. But it's very strange to see. But all the credits for Carlisle. I'm 100 for you. What was the comment?
Obi Poppin' fresh.
Obi Poppin' fresh. Okay.
All right. Before you go, I got a question for you.
Yep.
Sinner Alcaraz men's finals. I watched every point, 5.5 hours. How great of a match in your vast history of watching tennis, where do you put that?
Well, if we're gonna speak about hitting the ball, it is a top 10 match all the time, because the guys were almost putting the blood out of the ball.
Right.
So, but tactically, and I don't know, maybe not that best, because Grant, we are following tennis 30 and more years. So
Right.
we had sensational matches between Nadal,
Yes.
Federer, and Joker. So
Yes.
so we cannot forget that. I mean,
No.
it's nothing really. I always say that I'm not rooting for Jokic. I mean, I love Djokovic, but I'm not the guy who will say something because the guy is Serbian. No, but the guy was in some kind of, and they said it on the internet, he was in some kind of God mode when he played his pick with Nadal. So it's a big argument in the tennis circles about is Alcaraz pick better than Nadal's pick. So I don't see that. I mean, Nadal will wipe the floor with Alcaraz with his pick. So that's my opinion.
I would
That's
agree
my
with that. I think, there's never been a better player on the red clay than Nadal. He's the greatest that we're ever going to see. I don't think that will ever be duplicated. And I'm with you. I thought that the, Joker and Nadal, at the French Open, their matches to me were much more entertaining than the 5.5 hour match I watched with Sinner and Alcaraz. I would agree with that.
Yeah, but I will separate entertainment and the quality of the points.
Yes. But they were both. I would give entertainment and quality to Joker and Nadal.
Yeah, Nadal and Djokovic, if you take tactically plus technically plus stroking the ball that hard, I mean, there is no space for Federer either.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate your input, man. You have a good night or good day, okay?
Okay, see you in 2 days, and after that, see you in later June.
Sounds good. I'm actually taking off for my birthday. I will not be here on June 18th. So
anyway,
but that's okay. Thank you. Anyway. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Damn right you're taking off.
Yeah.
You better have a nice day, man.
Absolutely.
You're not allowed to work that day.
Well, I'm not. That's good. I'm happy that you have given me the permission not to work. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm going to block you from the channel. We're going to have a 24-hour straight stream celebrating Grant Napier right here on June 18th. Hosted by me.
How about that? All right. So Indiana wins. And this game 4 coming up on Friday, you go with barring injuries, must win for the Thunder. I don't see Indiana losing 3 games in a row if they go up 3-1. You agree?
I think it's a must win for both teams if they want to win a championship.
Okay. I don't think it's a must win for the Pacers based on their body of work throughout the postseason, but I do think it's a must win for Oklahoma City.
Okay. I think Timothy John McConnell II needs more minutes. He only played 15, and to Baki's point, chasing him around is what tired out the Thunder, and that's what opened everything up for everyone else. So give him some more. He's got a 69.2 assist percentage in the NBA Finals right now. Almost double. No, it is double Tyrese Halliburton's. So
how about
more
that?
Of him. More of him.
I want to tell you about EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined, and you go and see David and Adam at the El Dorado Hills Town Center, their beautiful auto lounge. If you're looking to sell your vehicle, you've got the information. If you want to purchase a vehicle, you go to their website. If you don't find what you're looking for at edhmotors.com, no problem. Let them use their decades of automotive experience to get you exactly what you want. That's what they do at EDH Motors. It is a long overdue concept. Go to edhmotors.com. That's edhmotors.com. Automotive Reimagined. That's at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. Beautiful location. All right. So we tomorrow, once again, for those of you that might have joined a little bit late, tomorrow I am going to be on at 5:00 with Dan Lindberg. He is the director of the E60 documentary Heart of Pearl about Scott Pollard. So that's tomorrow. I hope you can join me with Daniel Lindbergh. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Then we'll be on after the game Friday night, another post-game show.
Yep, we'll be right back at it. And no King's Court tomorrow. We're laying out for the 5 p.m. special.
Sounds great. Appreciate you, Ryno. To everyone else, thank you very much for joining us here on the post-game. Pacers, big win on their home floor. We'll see if they can duplicate it in 48 hours. Until tomorrow at 5 o'clock, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Pooh, stay safe, buddy. Stay safe. Bye-bye now.